What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our ACC football channel. We're going to give you our 2020 pre-spring power rankings for the ACC, a conference that, besides Clemson, has been down a lot the last several years. But a lot of teams, a lot of programs are on the rise. I think the ACC is going to be better this year. I think you're going to see multiple teams in the top 25 at the end of the season, and I think it's going to be a very competitive league. Now, Clemson's still clearly above everyone else, but I think the race for that number 2 spot in the ACC is very intriguing, and again, there are some good teams out here. So we're going to start at the bottom and rank the ACC teams before spring practice, and I'll be honest, I haven't done enough research, as much research as I would have liked to have done, but we do have some returning production numbers, and we, of course, know what these teams did last year. The bottom few teams are very tough to sort, but I'm going to go ahead and put Syracuse at number 14 just because of the small amount of production that they return. Only 52% of their production returns, only 42% of their defense. They were not very good last season, and the returning production numbers that I'll be giving you in this video are actually from ESPN. These are not the ones I've done because I haven't done every team, and it is a little bit of a different formula, so my numbers would be different, but it's basically the same ballpark. Again, Syracuse just doesn't return a lot from a team that wasn't very good last year, so we'll put them at the bottom. Number 13 is Boston College, another team that struggled a little bit last year, new head coach. What will they look like? They return 67% of their production. Offensively, they lose a lot. A.J. Dillon is gone, but defensively, they do bring a lot back, and they've had historically good defenses at Boston College, so you would expect the defense to be improved. Now, if they're able to get immediate eligibility for Phil Djokovic to transfer from Notre Dame, I think that could really boost the quarterback spot for them because that is an area where they really struggled last year. If they're able to do that, maybe Boston College could make some strides, but for now, we're going to keep them at number 13. Number 12 is Duke. They took care of their quarterback position with Chase Bryce to transfer from Clemson. How good is he actually going to be? I think he'll be solid for them. I think he definitely picked a good coach to go and help them to get ready for the NFL potentially. But this team only brings back 56% of their offense. They lose a lot on that side of the ball. Defensively, they do have a lot coming back, 84% and 65% overall. But again, we're splitting hairs for these bottom 6 teams. There's a little bit of separation for me, the top 8 and then the bottom 6. Very, very close. I would be fine really in any order if you want to redo these bottom teams because I think it is that close. But Duke is at number 12. Number 11 is Wake Forest. They lose a lot of production, but they have proven that I think they're one of the more consistent programs now in the ACC if you look back over the last few years. Jamie Newman's gone, and I think people say, oh, well, they're going to drop off big time. But don't forget Sam Hartman is there, and he actually was the starter before, beat out Jamie Newman a couple of years ago, and had the injury and all of that. So I think offensively they're going to be okay. I know they lose a ton on that side of the ball, but 67% of their defense and one of the better coaches, more underrated coaches in the ACC. I think Wake Forest could be decent this year, and I've got them, again, at number 11. We move on to number 10, a team that really struggled last year. I don't think anyone saw them dropping off that much. We all maybe thought they would drop off a little bit, but they got hit hard. This team was not very good last season. Surprised, again, me and I think a lot of people as well. We're going to put them at number 10, though, because they do have a lot coming back. 74% of their production is back, 81% on offense. The quarterback spot, I know they shuffled some guys around last year. If they can get better play there, this is another good coaching staff, just like Wake Forest. I think NC State could make a bounce back this year, maybe get back to a bowl game. I don't think they're going to be a top 25 team or anything like that. But again, I think it all starts with that quarterback spot for them. Up next, the team that leads the ACC in returning production, that is Georgia Tech. Yes, Georgia Tech leads the ACC in returning production. This is a very young team last year. And they actually returned 94% of their defensive production. So they should be really good there. Of course, Jeff Collins, good defensive coach. They've had to move away from the triple option. We knew it would take a little bit of time. I don't think they make a ginormous jump. I don't think they're going to be a top 25 team either, but I think they do make a jump, maybe get to a bowl game, play a little bit better. We saw flashes last year. I think the offense still has a little ways to go, but defensively, they may be one of the top teams in the ACC. I've got Georgia Tech at number 9 because of all the production that they return. Number 8 is Virginia, the team that won the Coastal last season. They do get hit hard, losing, of course, Bryce Perkins at quarterback. 51% of their offense is all their returns. They do have a lot coming back on defense, so they should be, pretty solid there. But it's all going to come down to that quarterback spot. Going to come down to what they get from that position. If they can get production and they can find a new quarterback, they'll be pretty good because of their defense. Their defense will be solid, no doubt. But it will come down to who, and Bryce Perkins is basically their whole offense last year, so they really, that's a really big key for them. Number 7 is Pitt. We've got them here, a team that does return a lot. When it came down to Pitt and Virginia, those two teams were very close in returning production. I really looked at them about the same, trying to separate them. It came down to the quarterback spot. Pittsburgh does return their starting quarterback, Kenny Pickett, and that's what I do a lot of times early on when I'm evaluating these teams. If it's basically a tie, maybe we'll look at the quarterback spot, and I think Pitt is in a much better place there. Maybe not quite as good defensively, but much better offensively, and I think that they could make they've been pretty solid, pretty consistent the last few years. Easier schedule maybe this year. We'll see if Pitt can make a jump back into that a coastal race in the ACC and maybe even get back to the ACC championship. Number 6 is Florida State. Oh, man, every year we think they're going to make a big improvement. They don't seem to do it. Maybe this is their year. They have a lot coming back on defense, and you have to trust Mike Norvell to get this offense going. James Blackman has been inconsistent, but he's got the skills. Will he even be the starter? New coach, you never know what's going to happen. But because of their defense and because of Mike Norvell coming in to coach this offense, I think they're gonna be improved. Offensive line again has to get better for them, but I think they're going to be improved. I don't know that I would say that they're going to be a top 25 team. I think they're a borderline top 25 team. If things can just go their way, then maybe they do crack the top 25. But yeah, I think Florida State, they're not back to being a great program, great team, but I do think they're going to be pretty solid in 2020. Miami's kind of in that same boat. They're at number 5. You look at what they've done, they just have not been able to get back to where they need to be the last couple of years, and they lose a lot on both sides of the ball. Defense got hit hard, only bringing back 50% of the production on that side of the ball. So there's reason to not be optimistic at all about Miami, but then you have De'Aaron King coming in who could completely change this offense. We know what kind of talent he is, and because of that, you have to respect Miami. You have to, at least say that this team could have a shot at winning that Coastal Division, and I've got them at number 5 in our ACC Power Rankings. Number 4 is Louisville, a team that brings back a lot of production as well. These top teams you're going to see all bring back a lot of production. Louisville surprised a lot of people last year. I don't think many people expected them to do what they did. They bring back nearly 80% of their production on both offense and defense. Year 2, new head coach with Scott Satterfield. So I think they're going to make maybe another jump. Top 25 team potentially this year. Again, they surprised me last season. I think they got to where they did a little bit faster than I thought they would, and we'll see if they can continue to grow on that. But I've got them at number 4, the second best team in the Atlantic Division. Number 3 is North Carolina, another team that was much better than I thought they would be last season. And this is a team that lost a whole bunch of one-possession games. Could have had a much better season. As good of a season as they had compared to preseason expectations, it could have been even better. They bring back 87% of their production on offense, including Sam Howell. This offense could be the best offense in the ACC, maybe not better than Clemson, but they're going to be really good offensively. 64% of their defense returns, so they'll be pretty solid there. I think that's obviously the weakness of this team, but North Carolina going to be very dangerous and one of the front runners in the Coastal, along with our number 2 team, and that is Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech might be the front runner in the Coastal Division. It's very close. They bring back 82% of their production, a little bit more than North Carolina. 74% on offense, but 89% of their returning production on defense. That is a lot coming back from a very good defense. They made the quarterback switch last year. Now we know Hendon Hooker will be the guy. It's not going to be a question going into the year, I don't think. And if the offense can continue to improve with a solid defense, Virginia Tech might be the best team in the Coastal. It's very close, though, between Virginia Tech and North Carolina. Number 1, I think it's clear, it's obvious, it's Clemson. No doubt about it. This is going to be the best team in the ACC. Trevor Lawrence back for his 3rd year as the starting quarterback, and probably his final year. I'm pretty much guaranteed his final year there at Clemson. Travis Etienne comes back. I mean, offensively, this team is absolutely loaded. Offensive line, they'll have some new faces there. That's about it. And defensively, they might take a little bit of a step back in the back end, the linebackers and secondary, but defensive line should be really strong for them. And again, I just think they are clearly much, much better than everyone else in the ACC. I think they'll run through the ACC and the ACC championship game once again. Just don't really know if there's going to be much of a challenge for them. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe some of these teams can be even better than I'm expecting them to be. I think a lot of these teams will be improved. It's just, will they be improved enough to really challenge Clemson? That's the question. So what do you guys think about my power rankings? Well, let me know down in the comments below, and give me your power rankings. How would you rank these teams? Always love to hear from all of you. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports College Football Channel.